Hi, if you want to watch exclusive content with hot girls that you won't watch on YouTube, namely where Naruto roasts Kushina and Mikoto and many other hot girls without restrictions, then visit my Boosty channel at the link in the description. Broken Mask. Obito! Naruto's angry cry, having just lost his friend, made the masked man pay attention to him. Uzumaki frantically clung to the vest of the Jonin Niji, trying to calm down. The Biju's veil was slowly fading, undermined from within by the irreparable loss and the sudden despair. A single tear rolled down Hinata's face. I won't let you kill your friends. Didn't you say you wouldn't let us kill your friends? Now, look around. Naruto looks around, realizing what he's about to see. But the blows still hurt. Shinobi troops stood scattered across the field. Someone, somewhere, was crying, bending over the body of a dead man. The ground soaked up the blood slowly and Naruto saw. He saw people dying. He saw the seriously wounded rise with a groan. He saw blood spilling and people falling dead. Try to repeat it again. The voice of the hated enemy seemed to come from far away. But it was the only thing holding his consciousness. He heard only this voice, he listened only to this voice. Slowly sliding into hopelessness. I can't hear you, Toby barked. However, there was a slight mockery in his voice. And Uzumaki suddenly realized that the enemy was laughing at himself. Hinata looked at him, but it seemed to him that she was reproaching him. In weakness, in the death of her brother, with whom she had begun to find a common language, in the war itself and his own birth. The realization of the moment when the bodies of your friends are cooling on the battlefield. It's like 1,000 bricks hitting you at once, isn't it? The inevitability of death. That's what it is. Obito continued speaking as if to edify him, as if he was trying to convey something to him with these words. But why? He already understood everything. Why repeat what was already imprinted in his brain in large letters? And Niji, the Alliance Shinobi, who possessed the Byakugan, opened his already large eyes in disbelief. It was as if the people had come to their senses and realized where they were. That there was no concept of good and evil here, that everything here was decided by a force so superior to their own that it was ridiculous to even think about it. He died? The death of one of the strongest smoothly turns into the death of everyone who once knew Hyuga. The death of some part of their soul. The number of victims will grow if you continue to pronounce your worthless principles. See what will remain of your stupid dreams and ideals. Here it is, the harsh reality. The words of his worst enemy seemed to carry a ton of weight, incomparable to anything else. Each spoken phrase pounded into the dust what Naruto lived for. It was so easy to ruin someone else's life. And it seemed Obito had mastered this art. Naruto, the enemy's voice seemed to tremble. Let me ask you, what do you have left in this world? You have no father, no mother, even your teacher, Jiraiya, died. And all your comrades will die one after another, like flies. When all is said and done, no one will remember your existence in this world anymore. Obito. And your light at the end of this tunnel will be what you've been dreaming about all your life. Solitude. No. It can't be, it's not like that. It's not like that, no, stop it, shut up. Maybe what can you do at all? I won't allow it, you alone can't solve all the problems. I can, I will decide. I will do it, I have always done. I will not give up, Loser, pathetic demon, despicable scum. No, don't you dare, shut up, I said. I can handle it, I can. I have to. You can't stop me. Stop it. Hizashi, forgive me. I let Niji. This boy is so similar to the old me, it's scary. Just a little more and the little one's psyche won't be able to handle it. And the Union will lose its heart. I ask again, what do you have left in this world, Naruto? Stop suffering, join us. And Obito extended his hand to him. Hand? He wants to help? Reach out, just reach out, nothing will happen, right? And Naruto extends his hand to him. In his frozen blue eyes there is only hopelessness. Slap! Naruto turns his head and meets the evilly narrowed eyes of Hyuga. Hinata is unusually serious and confident now. The masked man tilts his head slightly. Watching. Remember what Niji and Aizen said. Naruto, Your life is no longer yours alone. Do you understand what that means? Your ideals, your words, your desire, that's what we're fighting for here. That's what inspired Neji and allowed him to come this far. It's these principles. They're not just yours, Naruto, but each of us believes in them, and that's why we fight and protect each other. That's why we're family. And now, if you give up everything, Neji's sacrifice will be meaningless. If you go back on your words, that's what will kill our comrades and will stop being family. Because you'll never give up on yourself. Naruto wasn't the only one listening attentively to Hinata's words. His meaningless gaze became more alive. And those who heard them were literally reborn. As if a new source had opened up. After all, it was true. Naruto Uzumaki was like that. Stubborn, self-confident, standing up for his friends and principles. Because Naruto never will betray himself, you say? Obito, who had jumped on the tail of the Jubi, suddenly made himself known. Dear Hinata and you, shinobi of the Alliance, do you really believe this? Misunderstanding was reflected in their eyes. Of course, Obito, we believe. Kakashi joined the dialogue. After all, these are your words too. The old you. You were the same, don't you remember? Oh yes. I was the same, Obito drawled sarcastically. You say that Uzumaki Naruto is stubborn, yes, that's true. Self-confident? Of course. Will he firmly follow his own path? And I can't argue with that. But you didn't take one thing into account. The shinobi listened intently to the bitter voice. And they did not understand. Naruto is a human being just like you. And all humans are prone to making mistakes. Madara answered for Obito, condescendingly surveying the area with his Rinnegan. You're wrong, this is... Sakura began to be indignant. It's Naruto, Obito finished for her, making them look at each other in surprise. Naruto this, Naruto that. How annoying is it that you all are? Don't you have your own head on your shoulders? Do you really think that Naruto can handle everything on his own? Silence was his answer. In this life and in that, you are all the same impenetrable idiots and hangers-on. Obito suddenly lost his temper. The enemy's hand untied the strings that held the helmet-like mask on his head. The Uchiha's head bowed to the shoulder. The mask fell to the ground with a quiet rustle. The heiress of the Hyuga clan, blazing with anger, confidence and rage, gasped and slowly sank to her knees. Losing consciousness. An unimaginable amount of chakra swirled around the cloaked figure in a violent whirlwind. The light hair was disheveled. The dark blue eyes looked with some regret, and at the same time with complete indifference. And the stripes, 3 on each cheek, knocked the ground out from under her feet. In front of the frozen shinobi of the Alliance stood Uzumaki Naruto himself. Contact. Well, how do you like it? It was Naruto. His appearance was an exact copy of a certain obnoxious blonde. Only his facial features had lost their youthful roundness, his eyes were not as big narrowed, they indifferently examined the army at his feet. Undoubtedly, this Naruto, or Obito, who had used henge in order to play on the nerves of the shinobi, was older and stronger. What the, Sakura breathed out hoarsely, and her more emotional peers echoed her. Oh, you decided to take off your mask. Commendable, Madara said, half-mockingly, drilling the Rinnegan into the stunned people. How dare you, copy Naruto? What is he up to? Why does he need this? What's going on? The shinobi were already very tired. This war to save the world had already worn them down, and the superior enemy forces were pushing out all hope. The deaths of loved ones, relatives, and just acquaintances were undermining the well-coordinated mechanism of the Alliance from within. And their heart, the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, the strongest bijou, was slowly beginning to fade. Who are you? Naruto seemed not to fully understand what was happening, not reacting to extraneous sounds at all. For him, there was only one person now, who for some reason had put on an illusion of himself. Why? How sweet. The naive Konoha shinobi continued to believe, the enemy drawled, masterfully playing on the nerves that were exposed like wires. Do you know that you irritate me to death? Perhaps I would now tell you the heartrending story of a young, universally despised demon boy who defeated Madara Uchiha himself and sealed the Jubi. Who became the hero of all 5 countries, villages, and those that are smaller. Only it was not hatred that those around him felt towards the supposed hero who saved the world, but fear. But our naive boy continued to live, scattering in the rays of goodness, until his own wife died like the last dog, simply because the best friend of this naive dandelion, the strongest medic Nin, Hirono Sakura, suddenly turned out to be unable to help. And even her teacher, O great fifth Hokage, one of the three great Sannin, just shrugged her shoulders. My wife died. And then, on a mission, my only daughter, whom I named after my friend, Ino Yamanaka, was unable to fight off enemy bandits. Then, as if that weren't enough, one of the people dearest to me, my beloved teacher, began to sprinkle the strongest slow-acting poison into my food. I realized on my own skin what Itachi felt in the last years of his life. And just at that moment, Yamato-san suddenly began to train my control over the fox, literally hanging control seals on me. And you know, perhaps I would have died without understanding anything, if the children studying at the academy hadn't dared to encroach on the graves of my family. Oh, you don't understand what I felt, standing over the half-decomposed bodies of my wife and daughter on whose tombstones it was written, "May you die, demon!" Want to hear how I got to this point? Or skip ahead to the part where I unleashed the Kyuubi and had some fun with Konoha, the village I died for twice. And with each casually thrown word, with each name of this strange Naruto mentioned, the friends of his little copy understood less and less the meaning of what was happening. But they knew one thing for sure. That's not true. How dare you lie to our faces? Kiba yelled, trying in vain not to spit on the difference in strength, and not to rush at the enemy who dared to insult the honor of his friend, and his own honor. A murmur of agreement, full of indignant voices, echoed in Izuka. However, the screams died down, and for some reason they themselves were covered in cold sweat, as if each of their phrases only drove them into the abyss. Hey, you said you weren't going to tell them. You're just being a crybaby. Madara snorted dismissively, not being thrilled with the boy's sudden revelation. Oh, forgive me, Uchiha, I forgot. Seeing their disgusting mugs again, torture, so to speak, Obito smiled with the corner of his lips. Or maybe Uzumaki? In any case, Toby. We would never do that. He could have made up a more believable story, Sakura said confidently, but her voice was shaking, her fingers shaking just looking at Toby. Never, Naruto is our FR. Shut your mouth. Toby snarled, his features hardening and taking on a predatory expression. One more word and I'll kill you again with great pleasure. Hirono turned pale, her eyes wide open, the girl cowered in fear under the hating gaze of blue eyes. Enough talk. Uchiha put an end to the exchange of remarks. That's right. I felt from the very beginning that something was wrong here. I just couldn't understand it. Naruto wasn't listening to Toby's story, nor was he listening to his friends. He was trying to figure out what to do and why Kurama was so unusually serious. Don't you feel it? What? Toby's chakra. It's completely identical to ours. It's just that our chakra only mixes during the Bijou shroud and joint attacks, but this guy's. It's like it's always in that state. Wait, like ours? That is... It's me? The fox was silent. He himself understood little of what was happening. One thought stubbornly hammered into his consciousness, but the demon also stubbornly did not want to take it into account. The truth hidden behind it was too terrible. I don't know. I have some ideas, but it's too complicated. I'll analyze you fight. We need information. Wake up already, Naruto. The demon's words raised his fighting spirit a little. It seemed that everything was not so simple, because he even managed to make friends with this clod of hatred and malice. But a terrible premonition gnawed at him from within, as if they had climbed where they shouldn't have and launched an irreversible mechanism. With one click. Do you think I'll believe this? Don't underestimate me, you. I'll defeat you and prove you wrong. Even in this form. This place gives me goosebumps. Suigetsu fidgeted, his vowels howling tragically. If you've found everything you need, let's get out of here. Orochimaru smirked indulgently, clutching the Shinigami mask in his hands. Sasuke remained silent, but looked at Suigetsu very expressively. The swordsman immediately fell silent. Orochimaru drawled, looking around thoughtfully. What is it? Didn't we take what we needed? There was a slight displeasure in the voice. The Sannin chuckled. The little Uchiha had not yet fully learned to control his own emotions. Funny. No, Sasuke-kun, everything is very good. Uchiha remained silent, turning and walking out of the maelstrom area. The ruined village did not look friendly to him. He had to hurry. The swordsman sadly followed behind, complaining about his fate and out of habit, trying to get Sasuke angry. Orochimaru adjusted his hood. Something was bothering him. You impudent boy. The snake hissed mentally. You've really gotten to me. I'll dissect you if you try to play God again. Sannin slowly followed the rest of the group. They were heading to Konoha, to his home village. There was a serious battle going on the field. Well, or rather, the Alliance thought so. From the peaceful face of Naruto and Madara, who had not entered the battle at all, it was clear how unequal their forces were. Damn, we're too weak. And why did he put on Naruto's mask? Sakura's indignation knew no bounds. Kakashi glanced sideways at the hot-tempered student. He himself didn't understand Obito's motive for doing so. And something was alarming him. As if he'd missed something. Something very important, but what? XO. The real Naruto yelled, throwing a raisin shuriken at his copy. It was somehow strange to fight himself. Although he had trained with clones before, this was completely different. Clones disperse easily, especially since they were his clones and he knew them inside and out. But here, with a living person, it felt strange. As if this shouldn't be happening, as if he was making one mistake after another. Damn it, stop it! Uzumaki couldn't stand it, drawing attention to himself, which was already focused only on him and his opponent. What's going on? Naruto grabbed his head, shaking it from side to side, as if he was trying to get rid of a long-lasting headache. And he stared angrily at his calm copy. Why are you so calm? Why, you idiot! You. Don't you feel it? The copy showed its confusion, tilting its head to the side. The shinobi hesitated, deciding whether to attack or whether Naruto had gone crazy. What is he doing? We are at war, and he, Sakura hissed. Something is wrong. It's like his chakra has gone crazy. It's gathering in his head, Kakashi said, tensely drilling his student with his Sharingan. The Hyuga sensors apparently also noticed these changes and were now wondering what was going on. Jutsu? Sai asked. I don't think so. I didn't notice any chakra flows from Tobi. What do I feel? Tobi asked, breaking the surface of the earth. Uzumaki cursed angrily in response. He wanted to destroy this man who had done so much harm to his friends, who had conceived such a devilish plan. But something was stopping him. It was preventing him from attacking an enemy so similar to him. Naruto subconsciously understood that this was not a henge or an illusion. This was the true form of the villain. As if there was something against our battle. Uzumaki got furious. He was generally irritated by the lack of understanding of the situation, as always. It was painful to think. In his head, it was as if Deidara was having fun. I understand. The copy unexpectedly answered his question honestly. The same thing happened to me. When I first came here. Here? Where here? Here. To this place, to this country, to this world, and how do you think your adult copy could appear here? The blonde finished sarcastically, continuing to break the earth. The shinobi didn't understand why they weren't fighting, but it was an opportunity to rest and recuperate. I don't think about anything at all. Naruto barked, already tired of the ringing in his ears. It's still true. And I so hope that it wasn't it. Kyubi responded a little melancholically, forcing the Jinchuriki to listen to him. What are you talking about? His eyes were ready to pop out of his head from anger. What do you mean about what? Even though you are my copy, I think I am smarter than you. What Uzumaki did not expect was a mental continuation of the conversation with this man. What? You. Wait, how did you end up here? Yeah, I see, the fox responded, falling into depression. You can probably hear me too. Of course, Tobi destroyed all his hopes. And anyway, my name is Naruto Namikaze. I changed my last name a long time ago. What's going on? I warned in the notes, but just in case. There may be discrepancies with reality, and the use of words whose meaning is stubbornly hidden in the fog. Damn Mizukage and the 7 Swordsmen of the Mist. It may seem to you that the story has slipped into humor and mockery of little Naruto, but this is not so. The friendly manner of speech of the elder Naruto is just instincts, because the little one, no matter what universe and time he is in, will always be a part of his soul. As you understand, the little one will not be able to attack Namikaze physically. And anyway, I haven't slept all night and have been writing the chapters since 5:30 in the morning, damn it! That's why I'm so weird. But don't worry, lack of sleep has only slightly adjusted my initial plans, nothing has changed, the chapter will still be like this. Don't be embarrassed to ask if you don't understand something. I would appreciate any errors sent via public beta. 80s. I will change this world. What's going on here? Team Sasuke, Orochimaru, and the 4 former Kage all looked intently at the madness going on below. Jubi unleashed thousands of monsters, and the Alliance shinobi fought them desperately. Despite their numerical superiority, it was clear that the enemy was not using even a tenth of their strength. It was terrifying. All the way Orochimaru had been filling the Kage in on the situation in the world, and now they more or less knew how it all started and why. But it was a shocking revelation for Taka and Orochimaru that Naruto Uzumaki was hiding under Tobi's mask. The chakra scans gave disappointing results. He really was him. Changed, matured, with slightly different chakra flows, but it was him. Why are there 2 Narutos here? Minato asked, dumbfounded. Hiruzen was in the same position, although he still managed to snatch people from his village from the crowd. Orochimaru said thoughtfully. There can't be 2 Narutos at the same time. This is really an Uzumaki, and his chakra is similar to a mixture of the Kyuubi's and his own. Biju mode? Sasuke asked, not showing his surprise. Suigetsu was quietly freaking out next to him. Yugo was melancholically surveying the battlefield. It doesn't look like it. Naruto-kun has a different appearance in Biju mode, if you don't remember, Sasuke-kun. Actually, I didn't even see him, thought Uchiha, covering his eyes glowing with the Sharingan. My son has grown so much. Orochimaru felt a burning desire to hit the languid fourth who had completely forgotten where he was. However, Minato was always famous for his quick analysis of the situation. And can we assume that this Tobi Naruto is from the future? The second Hokage spoke up, exchanging glances with his brother. Hashirama shrugged, as if to say, what are you asking me? Maybe, but it seems like it's worth interfering, especially since our Naruto-kun seems to have finally frozen. The snake commented on the situation. The Kage agreed with him. Naruto. Sakura ran towards her friend, horrified as she saw the modified Biju bomb bearing down on them. The older Naruto took a step back with a mocking shrug. Wake up, idiot! Haruno slapped the frozen Jinchuriki. Naruto turned his empty blue eyes to her. Sakura shuddered. Hiraishin no Jutsu. A 3-petaled kunai plunged into the ground in front of his teammates. Then, in a yellow flash, the 4th Hokage himself appeared. Sakura sighed in relief. I hope I'm not too late, Namikaze asked mockingly, pulling out his kunai. The Baijidama moved into the ocean. And who is this? Although Haruno was happy about the unexpected rescue, she still remained on guard. Dad? Naruto looked at his father in confusion. Dad? So, this is your father, Naruto? Sakura's gaze caught the inscription on the stranger's white cloak. 4th Hokage. W what? The F4th. Edo Tensei. Isn't your soul in the stomach of the Shinigami? Tilting his head to the side and hiding his confusion, Tobi Naruto asked. Ahaha, well, you could say that, Minato scratched his head thoughtfully. Orochimaru lost his temper. A moron, not a Hokage! The Sannin spat. Oh, by the way, Naruto, isn't this your girlfriend by any chance? Namikaze smiled. Haruno prepared to give Naruto a good whack if he confirmed it. Oh my god! Tobi Naruto was confused. Just try to say that it is so, don't embarrass me. Sakura was surprised. If he's from the future, shouldn't he? Until his own wife died like a dog, simply because this naive dandelion's best friend, the strongest medic Nin, Haruno Sakura, suddenly found herself unable to help. Shut up! The girl screamed. No, no, that's not true. Hey, stupid vessel, how long are you going to amuse everyone with your stupid expression? Kyubi said irritably. No matter what, this future you is our enemy right now. Damn it, Kurama, have you forgotten? I can't even lay a finger on him. Just like he can't lay a finger on me. Oops. Idiots, the elder Uzumaki concluded. Hey, so you really are my son? From the future or wherever you are from? The fourth one fired a Rasengan at the monster approaching them. Hey, you already know the answer. Naruto smiled tightly and disappeared in an orange flash. Dad. Damn it. Minato frowned. What? This is your technique. Sakura was surprised. Ahem, well, he's my son too. Minato caught Naruto's eye. So that means, I have two sons? Of course not. Sarutobi landed next to him. This senior of yours must be stopped. I'm sorry, Minato. No, what are you saying? The fourth waved his hands and hurried to his son from the present. It looks like your technique is faster than mine, Tobirama exclaimed, jumping into the space in front of the shinobi forces. Hashirama landed next to him, immediately looking for his old friend on the rise. The first and second Hokage. And the third, and even the fourth. So that's how it is. The Hokage saved us from Jubi's shot. Yes, but who summoned them using Edo Tensei? Orochimaru, Sarutobi said mockingly. And we are here to put an end to this madness. Better late than never. Naruto chuckled, causing Sakura to be surprised. How long have I waited for this moment? Hashirama! Madara shouted triumphantly, jumping off the cliff. I'll talk to you later. The first one shouted accusingly in response. A whole range of emotions were reflected on Madara's face. The fourth almost laughed when he saw the frozen half-smile of the Uchiha. First of all, we need to take care of Jubi. Senju turned away from his former friend, hiding a bitter smile in the corners of his lips. And you still haven't changed. Uchiha squeezed the handle of his gunbai, trying to restrain himself and not give Hashirama a beating. You can get me mad with a couple of phrases. A huge mucus ball began to form in Zayuba's mouth again. Looks like he's ready to attack again. The first one muttered, looking at the ten-tailed one. Naruto, you've worked hard, rest a bit. Minato advised his son with a smile. Your friend will be here soon too. And don't worry, he's on our side too. Minato, could this be? Naruto finished Kurama's thought. So, Hokage, let's get started. Senju waved his hand warningly. Namikaze suddenly became serious. Chakra flared around the fourth, and he was enveloped in the golden robe of Bijou mode. This is... Sakura gasped. He looks exactly like Naruto. Damn me, and Minato too. Kurama clapped his hands. See? My dad is a cool dude. Uzumaki showed him a thumb. Who are you telling this to? He was the one who sealed me into you. Wow, you've already marked out the battlefield. The third was surprised, looking at Namikaze's spatial kunai stuck into the ground. Yes, the fourth answered tensely. What speed? I'm impressed, Tobirama grimaced. They disappeared. Sakura muttered in confusion. Let's begin. Ninpo, Hashirama formed a concentration seal. The other Kage formed seals after him. Shikasi Kyujin. And I'll add on my own, Senpo. Mujinmin. 10 seals. Hashirama entered the hermit mode. The huge arches pinned Jubi to the ground, causing the Bijou to roar in fury. Red barrier, Lee muttered, looking at the high barrier that had appeared. It is several times more powerful than the barrier of 4 purple flames, and only ninjas of the Kage level can set it up. Guy was impressed. The younger Uchiha and Yugo landed spectacularly in front of the frozen Sakura and Naruto. You're late, Sasuke. What's taking you so long? Naruto asked, while Sakura looked at the missing Nin who had appeared in disbelief. Sasuke-kun. Sakura, answered Uchiha, looking sideways at the girl. Sasuke-kun! Sakura exclaimed, drawing attention to herself. Team Inoshikacho, Kiba and Shino instantly tensed up. What? Sasuke-kun? Ino asked, just as surprised as Sakura, jumping towards them. Shikamaru landed next to her. Hey, stop, Ino. He's our enemy. Stay away from him. Chuji echoed his friend. God. Guys, you are still as noisy, Uchiha calmly responded to the angry looks. You bastard! Kiba yelled, running up to his former friend with Akamaru. How dare you show up here? Why did you come, Sasuke-kun? Sakura asked with bitterness in her eyes. A lot has happened. I decided to protect Konoha, and even more, I'm going to… Naruto tensed up. Become Hokage. Sasuke stunned everyone. Instant shock and dropped jaws. What? This joke is incredibly funny. Inuzuka got mad. Since when do they take renegade ninjas to be Hokage? You bastard, do you even understand the meaning of the word Hokage? After everything you've done, Nara shook his head disapprovingly. Did you really decide? And now you order us to forget everything that happened? Shino asked rhetorically. Naruto curled his lips ironically. I'm the only one who will become Hokage in this village, the guy declared, standing in line with Sasuke. I'm about to burst into tears from emotion, so many people wanting to become Hokage. But you understand, there's a problem here that requires your direct participation. Hashirama expressed his point of view irritably. Gather all the chakra you have. Our attack must be incredibly powerful. Future Naruto looked at the battlefield with melancholy. The war had turned into God knows what. What snotty meetings, family reunions, unexpected friends. Fuck, did they come to fight or what? Naruto spat at his feet. That little bastard, Hashirama. Madara was furious nearby. What's our plan? As if you don't know. Namikaze answered no less angrily. This barrier. Knock out one of the Kage, the technique will stop. Well, which of them? Tobirama. He is the creator of the resurrection technique. We didn't need any immortal dead people after that. Master of water techniques. Interesting. In front of him is his father's kunai. Thunder rumbled, an orange flash flared, a spatial funnel began to spin. Dust settled smoothly in the place of the second Hokage. Ninpo, Shikisukyujin. Ninja art, 4 red sun formation. Senpu, Mujinmin. Sage art, the greatness of the God's Gate. Shishiinjin. Barrier of 4 violet flames, used by the Sound Ninja in Sarutobi's fight against Orochimaru. As for the second Hokage, of course Naruto from the future is damn strong. Remember the chakra of the Kyuubi and the 10 tails, and also as you understood the flight of the Thunder God. And the element of surprise played into his hands. No one expected that Naruto Tobi could move to Minato's kunai. Well, fuck, we get it. In a couple of hours I'll post another chapter. Further events will not follow the canon. At any cost. The red barrier blinked a couple of times and disappeared. Silence fell on the field. What? Where's Tobirama? Senju got furious. An orange flash. Naruto from the future. He has my technique. Minato replied. Flight of the Thunder God? Damn, no time to relax. Kyuubi unleashed new monsters. Madara looked triumphantly at Hashirama. You! Come down here! Senju pointed his finger towards Uchiha. Suddenly it happened again. Thunder roared, an orange flash erupted, and Naruto appeared, looking extremely annoyed. In Namikaze's eye, the Manjikyu Sharingan blazed like a scarlet fire. Sharingan. Where from? Manjikyu technique. Wait, that's… Kakashi-sensei's eye! Kakashi took a step back. A small tremor ran through his body. What does this mean? He took an eye. Obito's or mine? Naruto Jr. flared with golden chakra and entered Bija mode. With determination in his eyes, Uzumaki nodded to the Uchiha standing next to him and ran towards his copy. Sasuke was not far behind. Oh my, the last Uchiha, not counting me, of course, Madara snorted, landing next to Tobi Naruto. Bijou mode, you hope to stop me with just that? Rasengan! Naruto hit him with his technique instead of answering. The elder mockingly melted in an orange flash. Kunai with orange symbols carved on them flew in all directions. Thunder played, golden and orange flashes blazed. The shinobi's eye could not keep up with Naruto's incredible speed and Namikaze's movements. Minato, without interfering, went to destroy the monsters with the rest of the Kage. Hashirama stopped in front of Madara. The rest tried to clear the space. These battles were on a completely different level. Well, shall we fight again? The first jumped up mockingly. Madara really wanted to kill him. Of course. And this time I will win. Uchiha suddenly put his hands in front of him. Shinra Tensei. Oh ho ho, the Rinnegan and the power of the 10 tails. Yes. You don't have a chance, Hashirama. The Uchiha laughed, pulling one of the monsters towards him and throwing it towards the Senju. Wood clone! The monster was knocked out by the clone's wooden fist. Rasen Shuriken! A sharp whistle was heard. Are you an idiot? Tobi suddenly appeared behind him. I can easily dodge him. Uzumaki didn't answer, jumping to the side. Damn, what should I do? As soon as I approach him with the Rasengan, it's like I'm being fried from the inside. We can't fight, little one. Namikaze waved his hand, trying to drive away the persistent burning in his chest. He may not be allowed, but what about me? Sasuke appeared in front of him with amazing verbosity. Naruto clenched his fists, looking at his insolent friend. This is my fight. Dobe, you can't even touch him. As I noticed, the strong words were just asking to come out. You're right, Uchiha. He can't. And who said you can? Sharingan! 3 Tomo flashed and disappeared, giving way to the forming Manjikyu pattern. It's useless! 3 Tomo began to spin in Tobi Naruto's right eye, as if mockingly. That idiot! What is he up to? An unknown person hissed irritably from somewhere above. First he destroyed our world, and now he shows up here. The bastard! Kia! Sakura crushed the skull of another creature. The girl looked around the battlefield, trying to understand what awaited them next. The picture was not encouraging. The monsters were constantly arriving, preventing them from getting close to the 10 tails, although Sakura did not understand what they could do to this monster with chakra, and the strength of the shinobi, even if united by all 5 villages, is not limitless. Her muscles ached from constant tension, while Sakura did not dare to use the 5th technique dash. The chakra reserve, alas, is not endless. Somewhere nearby, Kiba and Akamaru were tearing the bodies of the creatures to pieces with Gatsugu. Shino was poisoning them from the inside with poisonous bugs. The Ino Shikacho team worked together, sweeping away everything around like a huge ball. Damn, when will this all end? The girl asked herself rhetorically, breaking the ground with a punch. Hakro Kujian Sho! Hinata's voice rang out very close. Haruno turned around and saw the Hyuga princess. Her eyes widened from using the Byakugan and her chakra being exhausted, jumping around the field, bending. Beads of sweat were running down her forehead and the chakra channels swollen at her temples. They were really tired. 2 strikes, Hinata achieved almost the same effect with weightless touches of her palm as Sakura herself with powerful emissions of chakra. What can you do belonging to a clan automatically made you a monster in taijutsu? Dash. 16 strikes, 32 strikes. The girl confusedly dodged the creature's paw. Hinata turned off the Byakugan, staggering from fatigue. Move forward, casting aside fear and indecision. This is the key to victory. 64 strikes. Sakura turned pale. So much for being a quiet girl. WH. Where from? It seemed that for the first time in so many years his mental balance was disturbed. And who would have thought that someone would turn out to be Naruto, albeit from the future? Uzumaki was also, to put it mildly, stunned. As Sharingan. Where did you get the Sharingan? I mean, wait, that means I'll have it in the future too, eh? Namikaze slapped his forehead. A red streak of chakra and he was already hovering over his smaller copy, smiling indulgently. Of course, I knew that I was a real idiot. But not to that extent, Sasuke chuckled in agreement. Naruto turned purple. You would have received the Sharingan if history had passed without my intervention. But I am from the future, and that is a different branch of probability, which has no contact at all with the future that awaits this world now. I don't get it. Naruto's whole appearance expressed his attitude towards these abstruse words. And Sasuke seemed to have already begun to guess. Damn it. In your future, there will be no betrayal of Konoha and friends. In your future, your wife will probably be alive, or you might not get married at all, dying alone. In your future, everything will be different. Different from what I experienced. Simply because I'm here. Uzumaki looked down. Thoughts were spinning feverishly in his head. He still couldn't understand what this man was talking about. That is. Do you mean to say that you changed the past? Namikaze, playing with a kunai, lazily surveyed the battlefield. The Sharingan in his eyes stopped flashing tomo and faded. The iris was once again covered in its former blue. God, you finally figured it out, yes. How did you get the Sharingan? Your eye is blue, and it looks like you can deactivate it. Sasuke extinguished the Manjiko flame in his eyes, but pulled out his katana, ready to attack if necessary. He didn't like this future loser at all. This future Naruto was scary, although some part of his brain stubbornly insisted that nothing had changed, that this was the same stupid boy he had managed to consider a friend. But the indifferent gaze sliding over familiar faces claimed otherwise. Well, let's say Orochimaru didn't stop his experiments and research on dojutsu. And a few years after the war, secretly from everyone, he performed an operation on me to introduce some properties of the Sharingan. Of course, an unused eye was taken as a sample. Orochimaru artificially grew it, and transferred the properties to my right eye. Cool stuff, I tell you, Sasuke, Naruto grinned with that old smile. The Uchiha was stunned. An artificially grown Sharingan? Transfer of properties? What kind of future was hidden behind Naruto's deliberately icy irises? However, years of self-control prevented Sasuke from getting lost. He quickly pulled himself together and, swinging his katana, got into a stance. Namikaze chuckled, lazily creating a Rasengan in his hand. The chakra sphere pulsed, thrown upward by Naruto's hand. It seemed he didn't care that a simplified version of the Bijudama could destroy everything here if he accidentally slipped. Meanwhile, Uzumaki listened to Kurama's lost explanations, which, however, due to the Biju's confusion, did not explain anything. Rikudo Sanin created this technique and showed it to us. Time teleportation was known only to us, the 9 demons, and Rikudo himself. Even his sons did not know it. Apparently, something happened in that reality that the future me decided to use it. And how does it work? Is there a limit to the movement? Well, I mean time. Hell, well, you can only move for 5 years, or 10. I understand you, Naruto. No, I don't know. Rikudo said that the knowledge of this technique seemed to surface on its own. He also said that he used this technique at the very moment of his death. Then the Jubi broke out and Rikudo, trying to save the world, moved to the past and there divided Datara into 9 clots of chakra. That's how we came to be. Sasuke lunged at Namikaze, shooting lightning chakra down the blade of his katana. Naruto chuckled mockingly and moved towards one of the kunai-keyed. Wait, you mean, but what happened to past Rikudo? After all, now future me and present me are together. Well, I mean, but who cares what happened there? The Uchiha, with his Sharingan activated, was running after the future Naruto at great speed. However, the constantly rumbling thunder and orange flashes of chakra obscured his view. I don't know. No one knows. But I suspect that due to his actual death, only his soul moved into the past. Apparently, he moved into his own body, and well, there are many options. Of course, a sea of energy is spent. No, not even that, just an incredible amount. Even for me. Namikaze froze, creating a platform of air cushion directly above the younger Uchiha's head, staring intently at the enraged Jubi. But where did the future me get so much chakra? Flash, flash, thunder, the stunned Uchiha sending a small bolt of lightning after him. Naruto moved towards the Ten-Tails, apparently losing control of it. Not chakra, dumbass. Energy. Chakra is the internal energy that shinobi use to create techniques. Well, you know that, after all these years. Kurama, damn, you said it yourself, energy. Why? You. What is meant here is the vital energy of a person, an animal, which supports life itself in physical embodiment. Of course, now shinobi have learned to seal chakra in inanimate objects or to soak weapons with it. But initially, chakra only supported life. And energy is, you could say, that which is the source of this chakra in general. In this case, the planet itself. The Ten-Tails roared, as if to confirm Kyuubi's words. Madara thoughtfully surveyed the motley crowd struggling with the Jubi particles. The waves of chakra found echoes in his long-dead soul. Planet. I destroyed the planet? Kyubi was silent. But this silence was more eloquent than any words. Naruto trembled from the realization of the catastrophe that had happened in the future. Sasuke was saying something in a dissatisfied tone, but the blonde, frozen for the umpteenth time in an hour, did not respond. Suddenly, someone's pale hand appeared before my eyes and waved. Yuto. Hey Naruto, Doge. Uchiha couldn't resist and slapped him on the cheek. Uzumaki woke up and blinked. What? His throat was dry. Sasuke hissed irritably and pointed his finger in the direction of the combatants. You haven't forgotten? We're at war, by the way. Naruto watched as the Uchiha slid the blade into its sheath with a practiced motion and turned around, walking straight into the thick of the fighting. A minute later, an angry Sasuke's fireball flared up there. Naruto, I understand you're a little out of it right now, but… It's okay, Kurama. Whatever the future me does in the future, I'll stop him. I won't let anyone touch my friends. Not even myself. Naruto gloomily slammed his fist into his open palm and, grinning, jumped after his friend. / Tra-ta-ta, and again I rewrite part of the manga. I'm already tired of rereading it. The last chapters have faded into memory, and now instead of vague dreams about school I dream of how Madara defeats everyone. Maybe this is a sign from above? Dado. An 8-year-old girl was running along the dusty streets of Konoha, jumping cheerfully with every step. Her blue eyes were sparkling mockingly. Her golden hair was pulled into a careless ponytail at the back of her head. The young kunoichi was hurrying home to her beloved father. Naruto sat on the veranda, thoughtfully reading the report of the team of young chunins entrusted to him. The team was a standard 3-person team. Only 2 years ago, released from the academy, they lost their Jonin mentor in one of the missions, so after passing the Chunin exam with flying colors, Naruto himself, the hero of the 5 great countries, was assigned to them. The young ninjas were beaming with genuine admiration and hidden envy. But white, pure envy. By the age of 28, Naruto was the strongest shinobi on the mainland, which Konoha's leadership did not fail to take notice of. The Hokage post, so passionately and long cherished by Naruto, had not yet been given to him. Although he sincerely wondered why. Surely Grandma doesn't want to retire, he thought. Daddy. His beloved daughter flew into the yard like a yellow hurricane. Her eyes from under her long bangs gleamed greedily at the sight of the scroll carelessly lying at her father's feet. What could she do? The girl was like a sponge, so greedily absorbing knowledge. Although it must be admitted the little one knew theory better than many seasoned archivists, but in practice she was a little lame. Kushina, are classes over already? The first child in the Uzumaki Hyuga family, with the unconditional consent of both parents, was named after Naruto's mother. Although, what kind of Uzumaki was she? No, she bore the proud name of Namikaze, almost like her father, who had a double surname. Yes. The girl winked mischievously. Yes, in character, as well as in appearance, she took after the energetic and hot-tempered Uzumaki, which upset Hinata's father a little. Although the arrogance of the Hyuga, passed down through the generations, also made itself felt. At such moments, the girl began to resemble her father, who, with age, learned to respond to provocations with a cold look from his blue eyes and chilling insults. When the girl was introduced to the inner circle of the Hyuga for the first time after a long stay outside of Konoha, she was met with outright disdain. Hayashi loved his granddaughter, but the presence of the counselors forced him to reward the bored little girl with a cold look and a request not to scream. It was then that Kushina showed her character for the first time. Her bottomless blue eyes faded, her lips formed a gentle half-smile. The 6-year-old girl shut up the elders who had spoken up with one look and declared that she was going to meet with the inner circle. And she absolutely did not understand what the hell the respected elders, who are ashamed to be torn away from undoubtedly important matters for the sake of a simple family dinner, were doing here. Well done, my dear. Come to me. Namikaze Uzumaki put the report sheets in a pile and beckoned his daughter to him. The girl, squealing happily, ran up to her father. Naruto, smiling tenderly, stroked his daughter's hair. Kushina gave him a loud kiss on the chin, clumsily kicking the now empty cup with her foot. The cup, flashing with its white sides, rolled and stopped. right at the feet of Hinata's daughter, who came out laughing. Kushina, welcome back. How was your day? Naruto smiled and looked at his beloved wife. Great. We had training fights today. The girl became a little sad. But I, well, unfortunately didn't win. Two unhappy blue eyes stared at the parents. Like Naruto, Kushina's eyes changed color at such moments. It's okay, my dear. You shouldn't count on an easy victory right away. And it's even more unacceptable to underestimate the opponent, even if it's a little girl like you who's going up against a jonin. Such a seemingly harmless opponent may have an ace up his sleeve. Yes, you're right, Dad. It's just, aren't you ashamed of me? Kushina was ready to cry. Darling, no matter what happens, we will not be ashamed of you. You are our daughter, our blood. We raised you, brought you up, and if anything happens, it will be our own fault. But I am sure you will not allow this to happen, right? Hinata, after so many years of marriage, learned not to blush at the sight of the notorious blonde. And she easily responded with a smile for a smile. And for her daughter, she was ready to tear everyone apart, even Lady Tsunade, and to speak out against the entire Hyuga clan. Of course, there were no suicide bombers. The Hyuga princess still found respect among her relatives. Kushina turned to her father, somewhat dejected, for support. And only after that she smiled happily. The kunoichi jumped up from Naruto's lap and, happily reporting on her further actions, rushed into the house. Naruto and Hinata watched her go, looked at each other and laughed. After all, they both had little to no experience of parental love. And they didn't want their daughter to go through the same thing they had. It was too hard. Come to me, my dear. Namikaze smiled. The brunette sniffed anxiously and only then smoothly rolled down to Naruto's side. Are you cooking something? Yes, I wanted to make that pie with melted chocolate filling. Remember Ino-chan made it when we celebrated her birthday? Ah, yeah, of course I remember. How come I didn't smell your cooking? Naruto said jokingly. I just put the dough in. Hinata puffed out her cheeks, clearly holding back the laughter that was bursting out. The discouraged blonde scratched the back of his head thoughtfully. Why were you sniffing? The young jonin tried to tease his wife. However, Hyuga mischievously flashed her pearly eyes and grinned. Women's logic is a terrible thing, the girl innocently widened her eyes. And she finished, against her, as against the green suit of Gai-sensei and Lee-kun, it is useless. And Hinata ran off into the kitchen laughing, leaving her husband choking in painful convulsions of laughter. Part 5 The future is on our heels. Naruto, we finally found you. The monsters created from the Ten-Tails' flesh stopped their advance, huddling under the demon's enormous carcass. The united army of the 5 shinobi countries froze, obeying the order of the Supreme Commander, who had appeared on the battlefield 5 minutes ago. The Kazekage was accompanied by an enraged Karen and a sneering Suigetsu. It must be said that the members of Team Taka did not like the current situation, but there was nothing they could do. These two did not dare to object to Sasuke's orders with the weighty authority of Orochimaru. And Yugo himself was loyal to the Uchiha, as long as he kept his word. Gaara quickly built up the army, which had become a bit scattered during the battles. The shinobi had no choice but to observe the situation in order to react in time and get involved in the battle. Gaara and those who personally knew Naruto were forced to watch the fights of their friends who had rushed at the enemies. The chakra hovering near the Ten-Tails created a kind of limited zone in it. The chakra mutated and accelerated its pace, vision became sharper, hearing became sharper many times over. Therefore, the statement, spoken in a normal tone, by new faces who suddenly appeared on the hill next to Dadara's, threw the people into a stupor. Namikaze and Uzumaki! And both Naruto! What irony! Former Root Andyu fighter Sai, Orochimaru's test subject. Team Taka member Hozuki Suigetsu, former prison guard Orochimaru, censor and medic Nin Uzumaki Karen, and of course, missing Nin, officially the last Uchiha and bearer of the Sharingan, Uchiha Sasuke. So familiar and alien at the same time. Karen, don't be clowning around. That's not why we came here. Suigetsu rolled his eyes, sporting a standard ninja uniform without a vest. Only it was dark gray. Wow, Little Hozuki was speechless. Wow! Is that me? So small! Karen cheered up, adjusting her significantly shortened hair. The usual glasses that the girl was always tugging at were gone. Well, who else, little bitch? Sai grinned. Yes, perhaps Sai was the most different from his younger copy. His long black hair was secured at the back of his head with either hairpins or chopsticks, his face became more pointed, and his lips twisted into a completely sincere smile. You bet, a victim of lolliconists. The girl grimaced, trying to kick the guy in the head. The skinny artist calmly dodged, waved at her and ran down the hill in leaps and bounds. Fortunately, the former ANBU officer was quite agile, and Karen had no desire to pursue him. Darling, if you kill him, Naruto will be unhappy. And when that blonde is unhappy, Uchiha is ready to mow down right and left with his katana. The Uchiha, who was ready to mow down right and left, sullenly dismembered Hozuki into 1,000 small swordsmen with one glance. Karen clicked her tongue. The group of people moved closer to the center of events one by one. Hey, look how many people came to greet us. Sai admired, walking along the front line. Sai? Is that you? Sakura asked, not believing her eyes. Sai, who had come down from his bird in his ninja uniform, was in complete agreement with her. Well, yes, why isn't it similar? The artist playfully pouted, but his narrowed eyes dug into Sakura's face like a sharp razor. She flinched at the undisguised hostility. No matter what had happened in the past, Sai had never looked at her like that. Burning with emotion, even if it was negative. I'll rip Naruto's head off myself. The adult Karen clenched her fists belligerently, walking up to her and throwing her arm over her shoulder in a friendly manner. What are you doing? Karen of this world threw her hand off. The touch pierced her like a stake, leaving her feeling uncomfortable. I don't understand, this redhead in me? How? How did this happen? Are you also from the future? And are you also going to destroy us? Kiba immediately got down to business, pushing Suigetsu aside. Akamaru growled in agreement. Not exactly. Personally, I don't really care about you, flea-bitten. Who's the flea-bitten one here? Kiba-kun. What a lovely evening. Suigetsu muttered melancholically, irritably adjusting his vest. Next to him, his younger self was hysterical, her attempts to shake the truth out of herself having ended in failure. What evening? Did you hit your head after the move? It's night now. On the contrary. We came to stop our Naruto, Sai began, then patiently turned to his comrades. Suigetsu, please calm down your restless wife. It's like thousands of birds are screaming in my head in every possible way. Wife? Suigetsu and Karen shouted at the same time, jumping away from each other in horror. Have you lost your fear? Namikaze shrugged irritably. The whole war had turned into some kind of farce. Grown-up copies were appearing from somewhere, their prototypes in this world were learning new details about themselves in horror, relatives were finding each other. What are you here for? I remember you weren't thrilled about this idea before. You. And you, well, my gosh. Uzumaki was surprised, landing next to his adult self. So that's it. Either we continue the war, or we pack up and kill Jubi and go drink. The first Hokage, who suddenly fell from the sky, drew a bold line to the negotiations. On the dais, next to the Datara, Madara nodded in agreement in response to Hashirama's words. HM. And Namikaze disappeared. /////. In the next chapter. The sky was covered with clouds, the aliens from the future looked at each other anxiously. The 10 tails roared, sending compressed beams of terrifying chakra into the clouds. Madara closed his eyes, and then, with a jerk, moved to the standing Hokage. Thunder rumbled, rain poured down. Something had happened. Tears began to flow down Sai's cheeks, mixing with the raindrops. Rin frowned and, unable to restrain herself, leaned her face tiredly against the shoulder of the frozen stone pillar of Suigetsu. Looking forward to your feedback. Thanks for reading. Part 6 The sun covered in darkness. The sky was covered with clouds. The shinobi, as if spellbound, watched the riot of the weather, forgetting for a few moments where they were. Heavy cold drops sobered and cooled their wild heads. And then came the understanding of something inevitable. As if fate itself had turned away from them, ceasing to determine their lives, handing over the reins of government to others. Hands that know no mercy, and trouble was approaching inexorably, like waves on the seashore crashing into impregnable rocks. What's going on? Sakura asked, her voice shaking with excitement, looking straight into the space in front of her. She didn't expect an answer, but she got one. But it would have been better if the girl had kept quiet. My stupid younger brother has decided to destroy this world after all, Rin whispered bitterly, leaning on her unusually silent husband's shoulder. Karen's words echoed in the hearts of the shinobi, who immediately began to turn in their direction. What? What are you saying? Ino exclaimed in horror, covering her face with her hands, coming a little closer with her team. A quiet murmur passed through the crowd, causing Suigetsu's lips to twist into some kind of wrong smile. Karen, sobbing on his shoulder, was honored with a hateful look from her real self. It seemed that the Uzumaki of this world had not yet come to terms with such a strange relationship with her partner. Rin told the truth. Sai, who had called the girl by her name and had been methodically showering her with insults, was also honored with one impenetrable look from the black eyes of his copy. Naruto-kun didn't just slaughter the inhabitants of Konoha. He destroyed our world and there was no place left for us in it. Horror whispered quietly through the ranks of the unshakable shinobi of earlier. It seemed that he had seized power over everyone, reveling in his willfulness. And his heart was hidden in darkness. And peace? How? How did he do this? Do you think I know that? Rin got furious, brushing away angry tears. Suigetsu squeezed her shoulder warningly. He's a moron, an idiot who's playing God. In fact, the shinobi were used to Uchiha's silence. And, as it seemed to them, he was unlikely to change in the future. So Sasuke, who had suddenly become frank, stunned them not with the words themselves, but with their presence in general. Hey kid, are you alive in there? Or did you die of surprise? Kurama? Well, yes, why? Why are you so quiet? Kyubi snapped back grumpily, fluffing up his tails. Well, you know. So much has fallen on me, I don't even know what's going on. How did I become like this? Where did all these people from the future come from? You answered your last question yourself, idiot, interrupted the angry tirade of the Jinchuriki Kurama. Well, get into the situation, because you just stand there like a statue. It won't make things any easier for anyone. In some situations, you know, the Biju mimicked his words, you need brains, not bare muscles. Yes, I know, I'm not stupid. The guy sighed heavily, ruffling his unruly hair. Well, let's go. Can you explain what's going on? You seem to be aware of this, Uchiha spoke up, asking himself from the future. Sasuke looked askance at his overly curious copy, as he himself considered it. And yet, during the war, he seemed much more mature to himself. Sasuke, stop snorting. You really know better than us what happened then and what is happening now, Rin said, ignoring Karen's angry looks. It seemed that the clouds had gathered more densely over the tall man's head. Some of the more impressionable ones thought they saw lightning strike the ground. Hey! Put away your illusions. I won't leave you alone anyway. Rin was indignant, having understood what was going on faster than anyone else. The others shuddered, probably forgetting that in addition to Susanoo, Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi there are also the simplest genjutsu techniques. Sai will tell. He turned the arrows to the irritated long-haired former ANBU. Everyone immediately stared at the disheveled Sai. Sai of this world, having decided that all the interesting stuff was behind him, flew off somewhere on his own very important business. Once again, the shinobi were amazed at what time does to people. No one expected such a Sai from the future. Noticing the serious interest of some in him, the ANBU pursed his lips and, as if shaking himself, shrugged his shoulder. Well, you, Uchiha, you blamed everything on me, Sai hissed. And the Konoha members were again amazed by such a change, not only in image, but also in the character of their usually melancholic friend. How else? Sakura impatiently followed their conversation about nothing. However, she was not the only one. Sai glanced at his old new acquaintances, who had suddenly gathered together like a predator sensing prey, and sighed. Okay. I'll briefly outline the situation, and if everything goes as I expect, I'll explain the details later. Give birth already faster, Rin nervously noted, anxiously listening to the chakra that was floating around in abundance. Only Jubi was seriously obstructing the view, and the First and Madara, who had started the battle of the Titans with their chakra emissions. Sai remained silent, not reacting to Karen's cry, only giving her a sympathetic, encouraging look. So then, Naruto-kun, using one ancient technique that was created by Rikudo Sennin and was used, as Naruto-kun said, only once, opened the gates showing the past, present, and future. Naruto-kun chose the past, approximately, well, let's say, 3 years ago. Sai did not pay attention to the surprised hubbub. At first we didn't understand anything. Rin took the thread of the story into her own hands. But the world literally began to dry up. As if someone had sucked out all the juices, depriving everyone of energy. Naruto didn't touch us, thinking that we couldn't harm him. And we weren't in the village at that moment. Yeah, I counted, Suigetsu chuckled sadly. Yes, with his Sharingan. Sharingan? Gasped those who hadn't seen him during the battle. Don't interrupt. Anyway, Sai found us and brought us to the gates. I don't know why, but they were open, as if something was holding them back. And we jumped in. Why? Hatake couldn't resist. Rin looked at him disapprovingly, sighing heavily. I wonder how we could live in a world from which life itself has flowed away. The sadness reflected in Uzumaki's eyes made him shudder. And how does Sai know all this? Gaara asked in bewilderment. And from the change in Sai's gaze, he realized that he had hit the very core. Details later. Akashi cut him off harshly. The rain suddenly stopped. People did not have time to rejoice at the sun that came out, when suddenly an incredibly powerful wave of chakra, even more terrifying than the Ninetales Ki, was released, pinning the entire army to the ground. Cough cough. A crimson trickle of blood flowed from the corner of Rin's lips. Karen, just like herself from the future, was a censor, and the wave literally caused her incredible pain. The girl couldn't stand it, and fell face down at Orochimaru's feet. Blood also flowed from her nose. The Hyugas, with their Byakugan activated, grabbed their eyes, which were pierced by a burning pain. A drop of blood also rolled down from the right eye of the Uchiha, who was standing next to Naruto. This world's Sasuke, the future Uchiha, took the blow more resiliently, although he staggered. We're late, was the sentence that escaped from Suigetsu's cracked lips, leaning over his wife in a desperate attempt to protect her from this chakra. Madara grinned slyly. No. Naruto-kun, no. Hinata repeated as if spellbound, kneeling. She stubbornly activated her Kekkei Genkai again and again, not paying attention to the burst blood vessels and cheeks stained red with blood. Gaara, spellbound, watched as the tomo of the cursed Sharingan blossomed one by one in Hinata's pearly eyes. And his heart disappeared into the darkness. Meaning the heart, the cause of this horror, Naruto Namikaze, disappeared. / Admit it, you're cursing me now, smiley face, I know, it's not clear, and then Hinata got the Byakugan half Sharingan. It's just a nightmare XDD. I confess that until the last moment I had no such thoughts, but it was as if I had been hit on the head. I really wanted to write about it. I hope you will forgive me. Waiting for your feedback. After all, 2 chapters in one day. Part 7 God of the New World. Hinata! The Kazekage jerked to his feet next to the frozen girl. The chakra that radiated in waves from the hill on which the Tentails stood was painful. But for the former Jinchuriki, this pain was familiar, although it was many times stronger than that caused by Shikaku. Hinata, whose eyes were in the process of forming a Sharingan, looked there with wide eyes. There, where her hope was dying. Screams of pain and horror were stuck in the throat. The cat was paralyzed, not allowing any unnecessary movements, hypnotizing with its power alone. Even stronger shinobi resisted the pressure with all their might. Dobe, idiot! The Kyuubi Jinchuriki watched tensely as Sasuke, who was so similar and at the same time so different from his friend, who came with a strange company from the future, tried to take a step towards the source of ki. Wait for me. Teach. The long black hair flew up and the young artist fell to the ground, for the first time in so many years, plunging into a dreamless sleep against his will. Sigh, surged Rin, who had lost consciousness, and tried to pull his friend towards him. Hozuki's trembling hand stopped halfway. And its owner, like a limp sack, buried his face in the ground, covering Uzumaki with his body. What the hell is going on? Kurama! Naruto couldn't stand to see this. To see his friends losing consciousness one by one, and not knowing if they were even alive or if this demonic chakra had killed them. Oh no! If he can't stand it! Stand it, I beg you, stand it! Fox whispered like a wind-up toy, listening intently and peering into the eyes of his Jinchuriki. What? Oh, what are you doing? Stop! Stop here, Naruto! Don't you dare come near or interfere with this process! Kyubi shouted, covering his scarlet eyes with his paw. What should I interfere with, Databeo? Naruto couldn't resist. You'll see. Stop! You Sasuke, right? Don't go there, Naruto said, overcoming the pressure, drawing attention to himself. The shinobi, deprived of the opportunity to even just speak, listened greedily, hoping to get answers to the questions swarming in their heads. What are you talking about? Kurama said not to interfere. The Uchiha stubbornly pursed his lips and his gaze caught on the katana that his prototype in this dimension was holding. A strange sadness froze in Sasuke's eyes and he turned away from himself with force of will, who was desperately trying to get to his feet. Hinata lost track of time. Her lips were still whispering the names so dear to her since childhood, blood was running down her cheeks, and her legs could no longer hold her. Hyuga was sitting on her knees, clutching someone who supported her with one hand, but she didn't have the strength to turn her head and find out who helped her, and with the other she was tearing up the ground. Her eyes were burning mercilessly, but Hinata couldn't bring herself to close them, still trying to see something only she could see on the horizon. And then, 3 Tomo began to spin, carrying her consciousness away somewhere far away, and the girl went limp in Sabaku No's arms like a limp doll. The army of shinobi collapsed at once. In place of the unwavering warriors, ready to fight to the end for peace and life in it, there were unconscious people. Madara and Hashirama stopped fighting for a while. Without saying a word, looking at the chakra haze that was blazing over Datara. Boy, Uchiha spat out as an insult. Hashirama glanced at him, and then stared there again. What's going on there? You'll see, Madara snapped. Tsunade-sama, Katsuyu, who was covering the 3 Kage, weakened. D-damn, how are they? Katsuyu, the woman, who was on the verge of death, held on with all her might, remembering that the lives of her colleagues now depended entirely on her. I can't anymore. Tsunade-sama, they are alive, and the huge slug looked around in fear, and then disappeared in the haze of the summoning. Katsuyu, damn, the 5th Hokage fell to the ground, hitting her head painfully. But the blow was not felt by the woman, whose life was once again beginning to balance on the edge. Orochimaru watched the shinobi's reaction to Datara's chakra with research interest, although he himself was almost dying from its grave cold. But he, who had crossed the line so many times, was almost pleased by the Shinigami's smile that he saw on every face. Suddenly, the pressure began to weaken. The pitiful remnants of the army, convulsively inhaling the poisoned air, tried to come to their senses. Is it all over? Even Naruto was surprised, whose energy Kurama was holding back with all his might, saying that by interfering he would make things even worse. No. It can't be, and before Naruto's astonished eyes, Sasuke slowly fell to his knees, trying to reach Sai. His friend from that time looked at his adult self with concern, trying to understand what, in fact, would make him also fall without strength, with such a desperate expression on his face. And Sasuke already understood what it was, but his consciousness did not want to accept it. Not this. What is happening to the future you? Naruto turned to his friend and stopped mid-sentence. His blue eyes widened. Now both Uchihas were mirror images of each other, such melancholy splashed in their black eyes that Uzumaki simply could not say anything. Kurama was silent, because he had already seen this despair, 4 years ago, in the Valley of the End. The haze of chakra dissipated, and a tall figure stepped forward. Naruto, trying to rouse Sasuke, did not pay attention to this, while both Uchihas gradually came to life before his eyes. Only the melancholy in their eyes was replaced by reverent horror. And Naruto, for the first time in his life seeing such an uncharacteristic expression of an Uchiha, jerked around. The boy got his way after all. Madara chuckled. He held out, "Glory to you, Rikudo, although, something tells me that now I will swear." "Glory to you, Naruto." Kurama breathed a sigh of relief, relaxing all the muscles of his body at once and collapsing in a heap in Uzumaki's subconscious. "What happened?" Naruto wondered. Look carefully. Now it all depends on him and you. Whether Naruto Namake's reincarnation will lead to the dawn of our world or its decline, it all depends on you." "What?" "Incredible. Fascinating. Terrifying. Yes, that is exactly how one could describe what happened before their eyes. Reincarnation of the Rikudo Sannin. Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. Namake's Naruto. God of the New World. Part 9 Ashes of leaves. I will destroy this world. Just 4 words, one phrase spoken in a detached voice, emotions expressed only once, and the world shuddered. The pitiful remnants of the army, which for the first time in the existence of the great countries had united its efforts, listened in amazement to the buzzing silence. From the hill where Namake stood, lightning bolts shot upwards, curving upwards. Thunder boomed. Dark clouds began to gather around the lightning bolts that had turned into a blinding pillar of light, spinning in a whirlpool. Sparks fell from the sky to the ground, leaving the people who were groaning in pain untouched. The fog spread in wisps across the field, creating an eerie atmosphere. Techniques that were torn from the hands, spoken with cracked lips, could not disperse the whitish haze. Even without sensory abilities. It was clear this fog was literally poisoned by the poisonous chakra of the ten-tailed. The strongest shinobi of the villages, the Kage, resurrected and active, 2 Jinchuriki, carriers of dojutsu, improved genomes, without saying a word, bared their teeth and with silent steps headed towards the side from where the inhuman power was still felt. Sakura, desperately trying to heal herself with chakra, peered into the fog. Visibility was poor. She couldn't even see her fingers, she felt them. Her wildly beating heart told her something terrible was happening, something that wouldn't be easy for her. A bad feeling was literally eating Haruno up from the inside, but she couldn't find the reason for it. "I couldn't yet." "How?" "I hate you." Something hard touched her neck. Sakura froze, recognizing with horror the voice that was so familiar and at the same time so hateful to her. "What?" The girl turned around. "How is this possible?" "Die." A quiet death rattle filled the silence, but life still flickered in the cooling body. The girl's green eyes widened, and moisture accumulated in the corners. "How is that possible? This isn't genjutsu or a clouding of the mind," the girl felt reality very well. "So why? Why did this happen? How could you?" "Kakashi-sensei." The gray-haired shinobi stared blearily at the stiffening corpse at his feet. Something stirred in his chest, causing almost physical pain, but the man paid no attention to it. Who doesn't have heart problems these days? The jounin stepped over the body of his former student, silently disappearing into the mist. Shino sent his faithful beetles in all directions. Unfortunately, the insects, overfed by the amount of chakra in the air, fell without flying even 5 meters from their master. And Shino had never been a censor. Why? A cold voice sounded like a battle cry in his ear. Aburaim turned around sharply. The fog lost its previous consistency, allowing him to see the intruder. And having seen it, Shino was in no hurry to lower the kunai clenched in his fist. "There are many illusions in this fog." "Hey Shino, what's wrong?" exclaimed his partner. Shino checked him with bugs without him noticing. Fortunately, he was standing closer than 5 meters. "No, nothing, Kiba. Yes, it really is him. But where is Akamaru? In this stupid fog you can't see anything at all." Kiba was indignant. Aburaim breathed a sigh of relief. Inuzuka doesn't change at all. Just, what is this strange feeling? Inevitability? Yeah, something like that. We need to find Hinata. Shino turned sideways, trying to see where they should go next. Aha! Kiba leaned on his shoulder. We'll find it, of course. We'll find it. We'll find it how? And then Shino winced from an incredibly strong blow to the stomach. His glasses fell off and his eyes opened wide. But how? Die, bug-eater. Another body fell down dead, and the young Chunin chuckled, wiping the blood from his overgrown claws on his former friend's cloak. Attack, Naruto! Northwest, 500 meters. Thank you, Kurama. Sasuke, on the right. Chidori Nagashi. The lightning that shot out from Sasuke's hand cracked through the fog. The Uchiha and Uzumaki, who were running in that direction, tensed up, listening. Naruto, without ceremony, turned on the Bijou mode, prepared to attack. The chakra paws that burst out from the shroud on his back began to form a Rasen Shuriken in his right hand. Sasuke activated the Mangekyo Sharingan and accurately located the adult copy of Naruto. Futon. Rasen Shuriken. Anton. Kagutsuchi. The strongest techniques intertwined, creating something truly incredible and powerful. Black flames wove into the structure of the shuriken, spreading along the blades of wind. Naruto and Sasuke exchanged satisfied glances and focused on the enemy again. The Ten-Tails Jinchuriki didn't even try to dodge, creating a shield of swaying blackness with a light movement. A black ball began to form on his palm, its tip piercing Namake's palm. The newly minted technology met the shield, its roar drowning out the panicked cries coming from the depths of the fog. And then, Nameki's sword. His presence was clearly felt at a height of more than 300 meters above the ground. That same black shield formed a platform and Naruto stood right on it, admiring this world from above for the last time. The clouds were still gathering in one place, forming a whirlpool, lightning still flashed without reaching the ground, thunder still deafened the ears. Sivolo. The heart of the world trembled, responding to the call of the master. Unclear tremors shook the earth, twisted by the technicians. The air began to thicken. A scarlet drop of blood fell from the corner of Namake's lips, and mixed with the raging whirlwind summoned by the will of the Jinchuriki. The hurricane turned dark burgundy, the color of the blood of a god. The streams of wind gained strength and were already reaching the tips of the platform, when a crack appeared on the ground. A roar filled the valley, the layers of the earth shifted, revealing a gaping hole to the world. The Sennin waved his hand and the hurricane roared into the abyss, disappearing on its way to the middle. Fiat! An imperious command, and for a moment the world fell silent. And then suddenly it was filled with power, the very will of the new god, obeying, albeit cruel, but desire. The sky cleared. The fog began to spread. Naruto, along with Kurama, who had suddenly gone silent, looked up at the sky, where the enemy stood on a black shield. The connection between them had weakened, and he could say with certainty that it would not be difficult to hit the enemy now. Yes, that's what he would do. And he would think about what made him like this later. How can we get it? The amount of chakra in the mist prevented Naruto from fully activating his sensory abilities and checking on the others. But he was sure they were fine. Yes, they were fine. And Naruto didn't even notice that during the attack his heart was squeezing several times. Long-range techniques, or we can use the fourth kunai. Sasuke, beside him, silently surveyed the field, trying to figure out where the connection with his future self that he had felt when they had appeared had gone. He frowned, scanning the area with his Sharingan, but the poisonous chakra kept stabbing his eyes. In the end, the Uchiha had simply deactivated the dojutsu for the time being. Futon. Rasen Shuriken. Naruto jumped up and, raising his chakra paw as far as possible, threw the technique at the enemy. But the platform disappeared. And so did the enemy. The Rasen Shuriken whistled through the air and dissipated. Sasuke, where is he? Let's look for your father with the other Kage. It's unlikely that the two of us will be able to win quickly. It's become somehow quiet, flashed through Uzumaki's thoughts. The fox's chakra was incredibly low, and he himself was staggering from exhaustion. The Bijou mode was dying down, and Naruto tried to compensate for this with his hearing and vision. Hey! Father! Where are you? But the answer was silence. I don't like all this, Sasuke muttered. Naruto agreed with him. They climbed a high hill. Standing back to back, the former teammates began to look around. Fortunately, the fog was already disappearing. Sasuke, I'll repeat it just in case I'm the only one who will become Hokage. Got it. Naruto grinned, trying to dispel the oppressive feeling of doom. We'll see. Sasuke turned around. They fought with their eyes for a while, but both of them had very expressive eyes. Hey look, the fog is gone. We'll find this Toby now, SAS. But Naruto was not destined to finish the sentence. And Sasuke agreed with him, because although he tried to kill his friends several times, the thin bonds did not allow him to do so. But this time, everything was done for him too. Now the doom, the premonition that tormented him is clear. And all the excuses, like, this is a war, and in war there are sacrifices, did not work this time. Simply because he was not ready. Not ready to see a field strewn with corpses, and corpses they were, since the Sannin mode, activated in half a minute, never lied. Not ready to feel the full sense of loss of loved ones again. Not ready to stay alive when they were all dead. Yes, it's a war, but why them, damn it? Why is it even necessary? Who the hell decided this? My eyes stung suspiciously, my heart twitched in my chest, and my brain didn't want to believe it. No. No, it can't be. It's all an illusion. Genjutsu, yes. What is it? The shinobi army no longer existed. Apparently it was not for nothing that the hidden mist was called bloody. For this mist spared no one. Only 2 lights of life for thousands of kilometers around. The world is empty. Si volo. That's what I want. Fiat. Let it happen. That's it. With that, I'd like to ask the readers, do you want to read this epilogue about Naruto and Sasuke and Namikaze and the gang or not? My decision to end everything with the destruction of the world is fully agreed upon with the author of the application. I will not even consider complaints/requests/demands/ultimatums about a different ending. Tomorrow or the day after tomorrow I will write Interlude 2 and this will officially be the end of the FF. I can't even believe I'm writing these words. It's finished. Damn, and my hands are reaching out. Equals 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 epilogue equals 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 Requiem. Death Valley. 4 months later. The earth was dying. The sun had not been visible in the sky for a long time. The fog seemed to have become akin to the air itself. And it was hard. Hard even to breathe. The leaves no longer rustled under the whistling dance of the playful breeze. The young shoots of plants no longer reached for the sun, and there was nothing to reach for. The birds did not sing, filling the quiet world with their voices. They simply weren't there. The world is lost. The last 2 living creatures sat with their backs to each other. There were shadows under their eyes, their faces were drawn, their skin was gray and rough. Thin bodies and protruding bones were visible through the shreds of half-rotted clothing. But the most important thing was the look. The blue and black eyes had turned gray, lifeless. Dead, like all those buried under the thick layer of earth in this valley. Like all those they found in the deserted villages, towns, lonely houses. No one left. Nothing. Hey! The guy with blonde hair called out to his friend hoarsely, the way a voice that had been broken for a long time should sound. What? The brunette responded indifferently. The time for their tears, desperate cries, angry curses had long since passed. So long ago, since they buried the bodies of a multi-million army with their own hands. So long ago, since Death Valley received its ominous name. So long ago, since their souls began to slowly die, along with the world itself. Oh, I forgot, Naruto chuckled just as indifferently. True, the grin too quickly slid off his lips. Once again, a gray mask instead of his previously so lively and sunny face. Sasuke didn't answer. No answer was needed. After all, they had stopped talking long ago, even though it had become impossible to understand each other. They were once rivals. Friends. Partners. Family. Only now none of this matters. Their family is no more. It began to fall apart back then, 4 years ago, when one of the links broke away, chasing its shadow. And having killed its shadow, the brilliant brunette almost died himself. The second link quietly crumbled under the excessively heavy load. It crumbled completely unnoticed. No one could even imagine that the eternally cheerful blonde was slowly dying inside. The third link was destroyed after visiting the other side. The conversation with his father in the other world had too much effect on the soul of the gray-haired shinobi. The fourth link broke, in that suffocating fog a few months ago. The link that believed until the very end, when there seemed to be no hope. The pink-haired kunoichi now lies in a mass grave, probably already decayed underground. You can't make a chain out of two rings. So Naruto and Sasuke couldn't do it. Their family is gone. And there is no peace. There is no one at all. Topic. Dobe. The kunai entered the flesh slowly. They looked into each other's eyes for a long time. Blood stained the colorless clothes, enlivening them with its color. And Naruto smiled. Just as brightly as before. Squinting his eyes, shining with the blue of the sky, stretching his chapped lips, twisting the mustache scars on his cheeks. And Sasuke chuckled. Just as meaningfully as before. Half closing his suddenly bottomless eyes, slightly pursing his thin lips, shaking the black strands of his already thin hair. Shinigami cried for the first time. It was a long night. Bloody clouds hid the full moon. And a demonic cry rose above the dead land.